Hi, thanks for joining me for this week's quick business tip. Today, I'm going to talk about AI. And it's been around for a while, and I'm sure that you've tested it out. Maybe you've even tried or purchased some of the AI software that is supposed to make your life easier. And a lot of ads that I've been seeing recently, especially geared towards realtors and those in the home services industry, are web-based softwares that have an AI back end, and they are supposed to create, schedule, post, some of them even interact with your audience on social media. And I want to give you a warning that these are not always ready for prime time. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about any of these companies. I just, in my research, and trust me, I am all for AI that can write and create images and be ready to go, because that would make my life so much easier. And I've tested a lot of software that makes these promises, and the results that I've seen are not results that I would ever put out for my clients or for my own business. And here's why. AI can only do so much. I kind of look at AI as that like super green, real young, unpaid, untrained intern. And they have a lot of enthusiasm, and they can do some good work. But very rarely do you take an untrained, unpaid intern and say, here you go. Here's my social media. Here's my client base. Why don't you just manage this for me? The reason is they're going to post things that aren't a reflection of you and aren't the way that you want your business to appear online. Let me give you a very specific example. I fell for an ad. It looked good. I went to the website. Everything on the website sounded so good. You give the software your webpage, and it's not the only one. I've tested lots of these. There's lots of pieces of software where you give it your website address, and it scans all of the data on your website. Some of them will ask you more questions. I honestly couldn't tell you if this particular piece of software did ask for more questions, or there was a place where you could add more information. But scan my whole website, was supposed to take my colors, my graphics, my tone of voice, the words that I'm using, and put together social media posts for me. It's going to create the images for me with AI, going to create the captions for me with AI. Supposed to be amazing, sounded really good. So I gave it a try. One of the images that it pulled out was an image that I would associate with a jeweler. It was clearly boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, whatever. She's got a big old rock on her finger, and it's just like a close up of like her hand on his chest. They're standing in an embrace. And they have this photo for a Facebook post that's talking about marketing. And I am doing my best to figure out, like, because there's a lot of things, like I've done zoo animals and related it back to real estate for some realtors that I ghostwrite for. Like, we can make things work. And I do talk about your marketing proposing marriage on the first date. So I'm like, okay, we could make this imagery work. The post had nothing to do with proposing marriage or engagement or commitment or anything. It was just a bad image to go with that post. None of the captions were anything that I would post. And it's not like it needed a little bit of editing, it needed a complete rewrite. And this software never came close to my tone of voice when it had large text in the images. Every single time the grammar was off. It was just really, really disappointing, especially since some marketer did an amazing job with their website. Their website promises the moon, and the results just do not deliver. But there's good news. This isn't all bad news. So the good news is that when you are using ChatGPT or whatever AI software you're comfortable with, where you can just sort of like have a conversation back and forth with them, you can ask them to just give you some ideas. You say, look, I want to write 20 posts. I want to write 20 social media posts, and I need you to give me some ideas. Give me some hooks, give me some headlines, give me some something so that I can like start generating these posts for myself. What information do you need from me? And ChatGPT will pop back and be like, okay, here's what I need. The name of the company, who your target audience is, do you have a call to action? Like it will just like run through these things. And I've done this with ChatGPT, and it will even come back and say like, what platform are you posting this on? Is this for LinkedIn? Is this for Instagram? So it can be very helpful. And instead of assuming that you know everything that ChatGPT needs to know, and just like there's a lot of people that are like selling prompts where they are more like, I need 20 hooks for this business targeting this audience for a Facebook post, blah blah blah. Do that for me. And it will, ChatGPT will just be like, sure, no problem. And it will do exactly what you ask it to do. I have found that when you ask it, what information do you need to manage this project well, it will come back and just tell me what it needs, which is so much easier than trying to guess or trying to trust someone else's prompts. Because the reality is that AI is so new and changing so rapidly that for someone to say that they completely understand all the aspects of it and that they can teach you, everything there is to know about AI, I'm finding that very hard to believe right now. So when you start asking it start asking it questions like, this is what I want, tell me what you need from me. It makes it a kind of like a give and take conversation in the same way that you might do that with an intern. I've had unpaid interns. I've had some amazing unpaid interns. And there are times that I've given them a task and I thought the instructions were super clear. And I did not ask them, what else do you need from me? Now, I've always said my door is open, any questions that you have, but it is very difficult for these college students to come and say like, hey, I don't really understand. Or they just totally think that they do understand. And their understanding and what I was trying to explain are not the same. And the exact same situation happens with ChatGPT. I feel like it's very clear what I want. And because I have assumed a couple of steps and skipped over those instructions, ChatGPT just doesn't know that information. And so if I were to go to my intern and say, hey, I need you to write 20 ideas for Facebook posts for me, tell me what information you need from me to be successful at this, I would get a whole lot more feedback than if I just go to my intern and say, give me 20 ideas of things that I can post on social media. They'd be like, okay, I'll do that. and they understand what the task is. But when I initially allow for more information to be given, they also kind of feel like, it's like, hey, what do you need from me to be successful with this? Then they're like, oh, I'm not supposed to just produce these 20 ideas. I'm supposed to find, to like get some more information from her. So now they feel like they need to ask me questions, and the results are so much better. And it's just amazing that the same thing is true with ChatGPT. So instead of trying to find a software that is going to run your social media for you, create entire nurture campaigns for you, spend your time just oddly in a conversation with ChatGPT and see if you get better results. And if you have some results that you would like to share or any tips, I encourage you to include them in the comments below. Thanks for joining me for this week's quick business tip. I'm Jennifer with Limitless Impact Agency.